Hello, everyone, and welcome to our third Nikkei Block Party. My name is Erin Aoyama, and I am one half of the time of our community. And I'm so excited to be here with all of you as we wrap up this party of this community. And it's fitting to me that we're here to again live work as we transition from creative to program in which was really very sensitive incarceration. So at the beginning, that was campus food, campus food. And we even go to the tour, which was really affecting the curiosity and that significant that we and how it was for I'm getting messages that my signal is too high. Can you hear me now? Okay, we're going
My name is Ithaca, and I am a poet. I teach in the English and writing departments at Ithaca College in upstate New York, but I'm originally from Los Angeles, California. During World War II, my father and his family were incarcerated at Topaz concentration camp in Utah. My second collection of poetry is titled Sky Country. This is the cover. And one of the sections in this collection speaks to the incarceration experience. So that is what I will be reading from today. The first poem I'll read is titled Gaman, which, as we know, means to persevere. When I was working on this poem, I was also thinking about other ways to understand this term and translate it. And I landed on the word grace as a possible way of understanding this word. So this poem speaks to that. Come on. It was night when the buses stopped. It was too dark to see the road or if there was a road. So we waited, we watched. We thought of back home, how the orchards would swell with fruit, how the trees would strain, then give way under their ripe weight. The pockmarked moon, the face of an apple, pitted with rot. But of course not. Someone would intervene, would make of our absence a profit. When we came, the boat anchored at San Francisco Bay swayed for hours. The gauntlet of uniformed men so intent on finding cause to turn us away. And now again we wait, we watch. Our American children press against us with their small backs, which gives us pause. For the sake of the children, we'll teach them to forgive the fears of others, the offenses. But what we don't anticipate is how the dust of the desert will clot our throats, how much fear will conspire to keep us silent, and how our children will read this silence as shame. However much we tried, we thought, to demonstrate grace. When the buses stopped, it was too dark to see the road, or if there was a road. It was night. And instead of speaking, we waited. Instead of speaking, we watched. The next poem I'll read is titled I Will Explain Hope, and it was inspired by the paintings of Chira Obata, who was a painting teacher at Topaz while he was incarcerated. I will explain hope, but not today, not when the wind carries only the voices of geese crying but sailing far above our human heads. Down here, I'd swear I feel the earth's tug on its slow travel around a distant sun. But I'd also believe time stopped within this patch of desert. That elsewhere lives go on making marked progress, but we remain stranded within a stalled circle, surrounded by a light that fails and fails to reach us. How far and fast it travels, this light that is already dead. How far and fast it must journey, the prayer whispered in the dark. What choice but to forgive such a brave failure? This poem is titled Fireflies, and I was thinking about the women who were incarcerated who had young children in the camps. Fireflies. Because they have never seen anything like it, the city children weave through the barracks, calling us to come see. Our stories of fireflies in Japan must echo in their young heads, how we'd picnic in summer heat to watch the lit bodies punctuate the dark. Better than Christmas, we told them. So when they pull us into the Utah night, how to tell them these pulsing clouds are not fireflies, but moths. Still, we chase them through the desert fields, the children cupping small fists around moon-whitened wings that collapse, not from the children's touch, but the sheer pressure of air. My mother would say the fireflies are the lights of soldiers killed in a war far away, their spirits now wandering the earth in search of home. But these are not fireflies. How to say fireflies don't come to Utah, how to say how close or far we are from home, how to say where we are at all. My daughter catches one, its brief body torn and flickering in her palm. I teach her the word hotaru, firefly. Together we trace the letters in the dirt with our fingers. But the next morning, when she peeks outside, she cries to find the characters gone, the name on the earth already erased by the wind. I'll read two more poems. This one is titled About the Trees. And I was thinking about how the stories of the incarceration live with the nisei especially. And it opens with an epigraph from a Margaret Atwood poem. And the epigraph is, "Here is the handful of shadow I have brought back to you, this decay, this hope, this mouth full of dirt, this poetry." Margaret Atwood, Mushrooms. Somewhere in central Utah, off the loneliest road in America, grows a plot of scattered trees. That first fall, men carved shrubs from the surrounding mountains and transplanted them around camp. Sure they'd die, we were all surprised when, in spring, knuckles of green burst from the branches. The soil was grainy and soft as sand. The trees were a miracle, as if born from a handful of shadow. Maybe miracle is too strong a word. I once thought it easy to believe a vivid memory was all that mattered. But now, sometimes I see the trunks skeletal and bare, the branches hardened to iron, or they're lush as evergreens in winter. How much depends on how we're willing to remember. Now I sleep in an air-conditioned room and watch television long past dark. And when they ask me about camp, I sift through memories for a funny anecdote, the food or the smell of the latrines. This morning I woke before dawn. I stared at the clock's neon numbers, my hands again full of shadows. Believe me, the men were not angry, but when they dug the trees from the earth, anger bled through their hands. The men returned with the trees over their shoulders, the stunned roots aloft and curled into incomplete fists. The last poem I'll read is a short poem. And as I often say, it is the most autobiographical poem, as in the poem that is most factually true to my family's experience in the camp. The other poems in this collection were based on research and imagination, I suppose. This one, though, is true about my father. That when he was packing to go to camp, he took only his trombone and his suitcase of records. The poem is 1942, in response to Executive Order 9066. My father, 16, takes no spare underwear, no clean shirts, pants, or good shoes. Instead, a suitcase of records, his trombone. This is not the whole story, and yet it is true. It is a story without an ending, and when I open my mouth to speak, it continues. Thank you for having me.
Okay, we're going to try again. I'm hoping that my sound is better this time. No one's freaking out backstage. Great. Well, thank you so much. My name is Erin Aoyama. I am one half of the Tadaima Arts Committee, and I'm really thrilled to welcome you to week 3 of our Nikkei Block Party. Thank you so much, Christine Kitano, for beginning with those poems. We are really, really happy to be able to move from week 3, which was themed Sites of Incarceration, into week 4, which our theme is a question of loyalty. And it seems fitting that we're making this transition here on July 4th, a day that is often one of celebration and is one, I think, for many of us right now especially, but really throughout the last decades of reflection on what freedom means for us, what citizenship means for us. I'm really delighted to feature these artists tonight, and actually Christine's last poem is the perfect transition into our next feature, which is a short film written by Julian Saporiti, and it's called For Joy, and it's the story of a woman named Joy Teraoka, who was Joy Takeshita when she and her family were incarcerated at Heart Mountain. And Joy was one of the singers of the George Igawa Orchestra, which was the big band that played all the camp dances at Heart Mountain. So this film was created as part of an exhibit that Julian and I co-curated at Heart Mountain called Songs on the Wind, that was really trying to tell the story of all the different forms of music that existed at Heart Mountain and existed at all of the camps. And so that story that Christine tells of someone bringing just a box of records and their trombone is perfect, because we heard those stories of musicians who, when they were told to take only what they could carry, grabbed a trumpet instead of warm bedding or a winter coat or something like that. When you're a musician, it's just in your bones, I guess. So I'm thrilled to introduce this short film called For Joy, and I hope you enjoy.
You must remember this. A kiss is still a kiss. A sigh is just a sigh. The fundamental things apply as time goes by. Gonna take a sentimental journey. Gonna put my heart at ease. Gonna take a sentimental journey to renew old memories.
When she was 15 years old, Joy Takeshita was forcibly removed from her home in Los Angeles and sent to Heart Mountain. Behind the barbed wire, under constant guard, and living in impoverished conditions, she always kept her positivity. And she joined a band.
7, that's the time we leave at 7. And I'll be waiting up for heaven.
During that first harsh winter, Joy auditioned for the George Igawa Orchestra, a formidable big band comprised of semi-professional musicians and some talented high schoolers. The band practiced daily and performed at camp dances every weekend. In fact, during the war years, they were the only swing band in Wyoming and performed across the state.
Sentimental journey home. Sentimental journey home.
You don't need need me, but
Oh, yeah,
I'm there. I'm supporting you.
You better be there.
That's beautiful.
What did it mean for 16-year-old Joy to sing a song like that with this big band?
Oh, it's a thrill and an honor, because if we were back home in Los Angeles, I know the opportunity would never have come to me. George and Chika, Susumui.
So these are the two Shotokians.
Yeah, Ayami.
And is that
That's Tet.
Yeah.
And this is Eiko, the pianist.
Eiko, the pianist, yeah.
Watanabe.
So what did it mean for someone like George Igawa to bring that music to camp? What did it mean for the teenagers in camp?
Oh, it was wonderful. And he was a professional before the war, professional musician. And he also played with the Shotokian in Japan. He was skillful enough, knowledgeable enough to write the charts for the bands. I didn't know anything. I just had a lot of guts. No brains, all guts. It's just the nearness of you.
I often say, Joy is like my Japanese grandma. For 6 years, we have maintained a meaningful long-distance correspondence. At first, we talked about her time in camp, but after a while, we just became friends and bonded as musicians. A chance to meet her meant more to me than I could say. But sharing this trip with my colleague, Erin Aoyama, added an extra layer of meaning. Erin is not only a gifted singer, but a talented, forward-thinking scholar. And in 2018, she was an irreplaceable tour mate and collaborator. Her grandmother, Misa Takayama, had also been incarcerated as a young woman at Heart Mountain, but unfortunately, she died before Erin could ever ask her about it. For the two of us, meeting Joy was an important connection to the past.
I love that bow and the hair. It's
Oh
beautiful.
my God, my hair was...
You knew how to pose. You kept such good record of your friends.
Memories, like the corners of my mind, misty watercolored memories of the way we were. Scattered pictures of the smiles we left behind, smiles we gave to one another for the way we were.
I love watching you sing this because that line, so it's the laughter we remember. That's what I felt like we were going through yesterday, knowing, it was a hard time, but all of the optimism and, the joy that you still found.
Yeah, that's the thing about the Japanese in those relocation camps. They didn't sit around and mope as a whole. They got up and made something more positive, as positive as it could be.
And you remember actually seeing this around the neighborhood?
Oh yeah, posted on the telephone poles.
That just must have been such a horrible...
Like a slap in the face. As a teenager, you're so much more adaptable, but I'm sure the older people
probably realized.
Oh yeah, they went through a lot. Well, we had our clubs, each area, the girls would form clubs. Many girls' clubs.
Yeah.
My sister was in the Royalettes.
Oh,
Yeah.
Was there a rivalry?
No, they were older. There were more rivalries between Riddell's and Belle Charmiers.
Oh.
And we had dances, not necessarily with the whole band, but when we held the dances in the barracks, we played phonograph records.
And which records do you remember being popular?
Glenn Miller,
Glenn Miller.
Tommy Dorsey,
Mm.
Woody Herman, Artie Shaw.
I've heard that the LA kids who were in the camps were better at swing dancing than
We certainly were. We had a style that was looser because the influence of the blacks and the Mexicans, they influenced our dancing too.
in the style too. A lot of the boys were
exactly.
Pachuco style.
Exactly, and zoot suits
Yeah.
with a reek pleat.
Yeah, with a reek pleat.
And the girls, we had pompadours. And,
You still don't like the pompadour?
well, I think I look kind of ridiculous.
Oh.
No, you look beautiful. No, I think it was George Yoshida. He thought the Northern California kids were square.
Yeah, we did. We thought they were kind of stiff.
These dances, there would be a phonograph record playing. It would be a packed rec hall.
If it was packed, there were a lot of crashers. No, the girls' clubs would invite certain boys' clubs.
Oh.
It wasn't so exclusive, but, to handle, to control.
Okay.
Yeah. And get to know the fellows better. Yeah. It wasn't just the pop bands. After I left, they had kabuki. I don't know where they got the hair pieces, but they put on Japanese shows. It's an irony because they said Japanese can't assimilate and this and that and whatnot. And we're in there because we're Japanese. But then the administration lets them do all these Japanese cultural things, encourages it. And they had sumo. They had judo. My father taught shigin, which is a classical Japanese singing. So it's war, and war times have so many ironical.
Do you remember the opening band, Alfred Tanaka and the Surf Riders?
Yeah. Oh, they were very popular in Wyoming, and they got a radio contact tract, and they played it every week on the radio for the Wyoming people. The Hawaii boys are darker, and when they went to the bars, the bartenders thought they were American Indians, so they told the Hawaii boys, we don't serve Indians, and that upset the Hawaii boys, and they said, we're not Indians, we're from Hawaii. So they got the drinks.
The reason I traveled all the way to Honolulu was not only to talk to my friend Joy after so many years of emails and phone calls, but also to play music with her. To hear from the singer herself the songs which she sang at Heart Mountain. So we put together a concert for the families of old military veterans and friends. Erin and I sang the songs I had written about Heart Mountain. Stories that are rarely told, about the mothers, about the women, about the resistors, about the people who lost their lives in these camps. And we even played a song I had written for Joy, called The Best Goddamn Band in Wyoming.
The flying red musicians needed, so young Yoni grabbed the silver mouthpiece, tracked down the kid who brought a trumpet to Pomona, let Yoni have it on a 3-2-year lead. Joy Teraoka, Ithaca went to the tryout, she was only 15, with some girlfriends to cheer her on. That club was called the Raiders. Mom said, if you keep up with school, Joy, you can sing. George Igawa Orchestra, he toured up the coast and even played Japan. Before the war, they ripped up the Florida ballroom and don't sleep on no Shotokian. Under starlight, they danced behind barbed wire. Under the mountain, it meant something to sing. Stuck between two countries in a fire, the best goddamn band in Wyoming.
Joy Teraoka to the stage to sing a couple songs that were actually sung
back then. So please welcome Joy. She told me afterwards that watching the images projected behind us brought back memories of friends. Memories she thought she had lost, but came flooding back in. And then, to close out the concert, she took the stage and sang some of the old songs which the George Igawa Orchestra once played. At the end of the summer, Erin and I returned to Heart Mountain. And a day after the annual pilgrimage, as the sun was setting, we brought some of Joy's songs back to where she and the George Igawa Orchestra once made music, behind the barbed wire and under the mountain.
I'll be seeing you in all the old familiar places that this heart of mine embraces all day through. In that small cafe, the park across the way, the children's carousel, our mango tree, the wishing well. I'll be seeing you in every lovely summer's day, in everything that's light and gay. I'll always think of you that way. I'll find you in the morning sun, and when the night is blue, I'll be looking at the moon, but I'll be seeing you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Dakota Russell. I'm the Executive Director of the Heart Mountain Wyoming Foundation. On behalf of Heart Mountain, I want to wish all of you a happy Independence Day here live from Wyoming. But more importantly than that, I want to introduce a good friend of ours, a talented musician and composer, and someone who we've been working with very closely for the last year or two on what's going to be a fantastic film that he's coming up, Omoyari. And right now he's going to play a few songs for us. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Kishi. Bashi.
Hello, everybody. How's it going? I'm live from Heart Mountain, and I'm just gonna get started, and then we'll have a little talk later. So I actually wrote an album called Omoyari, and kind of wrote it through my travels, and one of the main places I've been coming back to is Heart Mountain. So. Under the ocean, far from the sun, penny rabbit wondering, when will we ever become one? It's the suffer days to come. Faithless and mystic, faint as can be, penny rabbit floated fast, and his bones upon the shore. Didn't matter, didn't care. Faithless and mystic, faint as can be, penny rabbit floated fast, planted his paws upon the shore. many others have failed for. Fresh out of wishes, faint as can be, penny rabbit floated fast, planted his paws upon the shore. Many others have failed for. Summer bear with that slender hair, and that smile she said to me, it's more than I can bear. Wondering when will you have the courage to sing a song for me and you over here. On the shore, bandit rabbit emerged from the sea. His fur's ripped from its shiny old summer. I've come for thee. He had seen it in his dreams. Sunset holding hands, songs in the air. Penny rabbit, summer bear, fairy tale, perfect pair. None in memory could compare. Summer bear with that slender hair, and that smile she said to me, it's more than I can bear. Wondering when will you have the courage to sing a song for me and you. Come to you whatever you do, anywhere. Summer one day very soon. Once upon a moon. One day very soon. Summer bear. Thank you. Thanks, guys. Oh, I got an in studio. I have a socially distanced in studio family here. Thanks, guys, for being here. So, again, my name is Kishi Bashi. I swear to God, I'm live at Heart Mountain. I do not have a Heart Mountain mural in my house, and I'm not faking it. So, let's see. I actually came to Heart Mountain. I've climbed Heart Mountain like 3 times. It's kind of always the highlight of my summer, and I've been to 2 pilgrimages. My parents are actually Japanese immigrants, and they were, so I have no physical connection to the incarceration, but it's a place that I kind of, it's kind of like a second home. You know, I like coming here and I like hanging out with the people, and I like to see the history, learn more about the history every single time I come here, so. This is a song called Song for You. La, la, a song for you, a road in memory, as faint as anything we etched into the walls. It's all for you. We call the venomous to silent strike on any vein, like a bayonet array. Song for you. When did you fill out the melody of sacred innocence in the middle of the war? I fought for you, the pride in every light that shined upon your face from a memory erased. It's all for you. We pledged to send a photograph of every frame of every
So you should be on the stronger one.
Okay. Back. Nice. Okay. I'm back. Let's see here. I'm going to play a song called F. Delano. So a lot of these songs were about my, I wrote, let's see, it's very confusing. I have a movie called Omoyari of the same name that it's about Japanese American incarceration and is also about minority identity in America. And I guess to kind of, today's an interesting day. Happy 4th of July, by the way. Independence Day, I was talking to Erin Aoyama earlier today, but it's the first time where the Declaration of Independence, the signing itself is kind of problematic in that we think, in Philadelphia, July 4th, 1776, it was great for, Anglo-European settlers here, but not so great for African Americans because they were, slavery was rampant, Native Americans slowly getting pushed out, and it's kind of like, how do you feel about that? And I think a lot of the conflict that I have in my own head is really that I don't feel conflicted, honestly. It's like still the idea of democracy, the idea of having a vote, having a government that, really protects liberty is something that can be realized. Hasn't been realized yet, but we're in the process of realizing it. And I think that idea for me is very powerful, and that's something I can really be proud of and be behind. And so for that, I want to wish everybody a happy Independence Day, and that we are still working towards becoming that great country that was promised back then. So this next song is called F. Delano. Franklin Delano Roosevelt, one of the great presidents of America. He created a lot of social programs that we still depend on today. He pretty much led America out of the Great Depression. Is a hero to an entire generation of Americans. Yet he failed to protect the Japanese Americans, let war hysteria and racism allow the incarceration of the entire Japanese population on the West Coast. And so it's kind of, to me, it's a very interesting duality. You can be a hero, and you can also be a villain. And I think that's where history is really nuanced, and it's very interesting in that you can, it's not a bedtime story where there's a hero and a villain. This is history, where there's real people doing real actions with real consequences. And so this is about F. Delano. Oh, in the desert they gave you the slip row hip balloon. Chip on your shoulder, the scotch tasted much older than before. Nightly occurrence, the man laughed it off like it was a bore to them. They were right, feminine encounters were inside. F. Delano, into the desert he pushed all the nips, he wasn't alone. Into the spurious sentence was stiff, he froze to the bone. Speech with a fury, sentence with no blood out of you. Without heart, bleeding hard for any man or child. F. Delano, na 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 na. a desert where no one should live. It wasn't our home. And in the winter, a sentence was stiff, we froze to the bone. Summer was sunny, the history funny to settle with. Was he right? In a sense, without a drop of fun. F. Delano, na 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 na. Hey, thanks guys. Thank you. See you guys at the bar. You know, just kidding, kids. I'll do one more song. I'd like to talk to Erin Aoyama. Actually, it's so good to see her. I'm gonna do one more song, and I'm going to dedicate this to Erin Aoyama because we've traveled together a lot in making this movie. She's also a star supporting character in this film as well, and she's really kind of our guide to a lot of these camps and the incarceration history, and she's our connection, you know, our physical connection to these camps. So I'd like to do a song called Theme for Jerome. And in one of our trips, we visited the camps in and Rower. They're right next to each other in Arkansas. And I apologize about my hair. It's awful. This is the one time only haircut you'll ever see. I self-cut hair. See the snip right here? I just did that myself. So in Jerome, there's an incarceration camp in Arkansas in kind of the swampy area. And we visited that in the winter. And I think a lot of like what I wanted to connect with is because I speak Japanese and my parents are from Japan, and they really instilled a lot of culture in me, culture and also language, which I'm forever grateful. And what happened to a lot of these incarcerees is in an effort to survive, you know, they really self-suppressed their own language and culture, you know, and it was discouraged. And, you know, books were banned unless it was a Bible. And I think ultimately it brings me sadness to think that, you know, it's a suppression of an immigrant culture. You know, these were not, like the story we hear now is that, oh, look how American they were, you know, they play baseball and, you know, I don't know, they have no accents. But the reality of it is they were very Japanese, a lot of them. A lot of them only spoke Japanese. And they ate Japanese food, and they had this vibrant immigrant culture that was largely lost, you know, due to either self-suppression or through just outside pressure to not continue and to assimilate. And so this is about the loss of language. This is called Theme for Jerome. After today, we speak the new with every word. You walk from the comfort of my hands, 'cause after all, we'd fight the war with anything we thought. Here we are in Jerome. Kanashimi furete mo anata naru hi kokoro tomo yo wasurete these words today. How many times I'd smile if you remember me with a song. La, 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 There was a girl, she fell in love, and on the sun-dried lands he settled in, started again. And when they'd sleep, she'd sing this melody to her beloved sons, forgotten words from Japan. Thanks. Is there an Erin Aoyama? Hey.
Yes, and I was going to make fun of your haircut because it was, but now we can see you so well.
What's that?
Well, all you needed was me to clean up the image. I
know.
guess.
I
You're
know. It looks so much better now with you on. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. You know I love that song, and it always makes me kind of cry a little bit. So thank you for playing it.
Yeah. No. Thanks for having me. Yeah. It's Yeah. I don't know if there's any. Have you seen any questions, queries?
No queries yet, but it's a good reminder. Folks watching, if you have questions, leave them for Kay, and we'll pass them on. But why are you in Wyoming right now, Kay? Where are you going?
Oh, I'm actually, there's this thing called a coronavirus, and because of social distancing things, all music events are canceled. And so I literally have nothing to do.
Thanks for the update.
I have a camper, and I'm lucky enough to have this camper, and I'm on a road trip with Sola, and we're going to Glacier National Park. So.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Are you making any stops along the way to see a certain Justin Smith?
Justin Taylor Smith. Yeah, I'm going to see him tomorrow. We're going to be in Bozeman for a couple weeks, so
That's
going to be great.
Working on Omoyadi.
Yeah, so let me see here. Here I'm plugging my movie.
Woo!
So Omoyadi. Okay, so Omoyadi is the name of my album, but it's also it's a word called. It's about like having empathy. Sorry, I haven't talked to anybody in like 3 months, so this is kind of awkward, to say the least. So Omoyari is about having empathy and having consideration for another person, and I think it's kind of the key to averting hostility and aggressive behavior, and kind of like the key to solving the world's problems. It's connected to love and compassion, I think. So.
Yeah. So tell us more a little bit before then you can play songs again. But how did you decide on that title for your album and this film? And like, tell us more about this journey that you've been on for the last 3+ years.
I know. Well, as you would know, so the first, actually, it's kind of happened in 2016. 4 years ago, when we had a brand new president with a lot of shocking ideas, kind of felt going backwards, especially when the Muslim ban was happening. And so, I remember that it was the 75th anniversary of Pearl Harbor, and that year. And I remember, and then I started looking back, like, oh, what happened after Pearl Harbor, and I started realizing that the Muslim ban and a lot of that rhetoric, was the referencing also the incarceration, the Japanese American incarceration as precedent for doing that to immigrants. And so I went on this trip, met, kind of invited by this guy, Julian Saporiti, half of No Boy Project, and that's how I met you on this like amazing trip, Oh my God. And Sorry, Heart Mountain's really slippery in the winter. Is this snow? Do we know that is this snow or is this probably no, I don't know. This might be gravel. So
yeah, so basically
I swear to
road trip of graduate students and
yes, yep. So graduate students, and it was kind of crazy. You guys were like sleeping on floors. I was like, I'm 42 years old. I don't think I need to be. I'll try sleeping on a floor, you know.
I remember you getting hotel rooms for yourself many times during that trip.
I'm just kind of old, you know. It's like I'm a little older than you guys. Yeah, and so I don't know. We were discussing basically minority identity and all these really difficult issues, and kind of toured the country, the West Coast, and we saw like a bunch of incarceration camps. 3 Poston, right? We saw Poston, and we saw Manzanar. We went up to some assembly centers. We went to Janum, and got introduced to. Actually, it was the first time really getting introduced to that Japanese American community because I'm East Coast, and what they call shin nisei, which I didn't even know that word existed. Is what Japanese Americans from that incarceration experience call Japanese immigrant kids of nisei, me, right? And so I kind of got turned. I finally got connected to this culture that I've completely been disconnected from, you know. And it was really, it's been a fascinating 4-year journey. Made a lot of friends.
Made a lot of friends. Yeah.
Yeah, made a lot of, yeah. So.
Yeah. I know. I was remembering today. It's been almost exactly 3 years since we met in the Phoenix airport at Bashi.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was like, look for me. I'm Asian. Wait,
yeah.
I'm like, what are you besides Asian? And you're like,
it worked.
Like it worked out. I think so.
Well,
it was a fun trip.
It was a fun trip, and I'm hoping we'll get to see some of the film towards the end of the pilgrimage.
Oh yeah. We'll definitely have a clip of it in what is it, mid-August, something
mid-August,
like that. So,
exactly.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah. You can just hold me to it. Let's just say it's gonna happen.
All right, it's happening. Everyone watching right now, he's committed.
Yeah.
Great.
And so, but if you want to go, we have a website. So if you want to go check it out, if you want to donate, you can also donate. Actually, honestly, you should donate to Black Lives Matter. But if you already donate to Black Lives Matter and you want to donate more, you should, you know, just kidding. No, seriously, donate to Black Lives Matter. Okay, so, should I do another song?
Yes, please.
Okay, I definitely want to talk to you more.
Yeah. Well,
it's so good to see. Okay, all right. Okay, so I'm gonna do an Okinawan song. Is that cool?
Perfect.
So.
Thanks, Kay.
Okay. Bye. Okay, so my mom's from Okinawa, and I think a lot of what I realized about, you know, you look at these camps and, you know, you think they're all like Japanese, but there's a lot of Japanese people are multi-layered too. There's like people from the rural areas. There's I don't know, were there many people from Tokyo in these camps? Like a lot of immigrants were from rural areas, I think, and when the Meiji government took over and did all these like reforms, a lot of people moved to the city and left these rural areas kind of like desolate and destitute, and I think that caused a lot of immigration to America. And so there, you know, people from Sendai and people from like the north and Shikoku and the island, and then a lot of people from Okinawa came over, probably a lot in Hawaii, but I think some to these camps. So my mom's from Okinawa, and it's a very beautiful island country. It's kind of they have a very different culture. They have a dialect of Japanese that Japanese people can't even understand them, you know. So, but it's a very beautiful island, and this is a song called Nada Soso. It's in mainland Japanese, just if you're wondering. So, let's see. Furui albamu nekuri. ありがとうってつぶやいたいつも胸の中励ましてくれる人よ晴れ渡る日も雨の日も浮かぶあの笑顔思い出遠くはせても面影探してよみがえる日 日はなだそうそう一番星に乗るそれは私の癖になり夕暮れに見上げる空心いっぱいあなたがす悲しみにも喜びにも思うあの笑顔あなたの場所私が見えたらきっといつかって信じてゆく思い出遠く喜びも思うあの笑顔あなたの場所から私が寂しくて恋しくて会いたくて会いたくて会いたくてなれはなだいのなだそうそう Thanks guys. Let's see. Hey, Erin.
Hey, I don't need to be here, but I'll applaud for you too.
What's that?
I'll applaud for you also.
Oh, thanks. I have an audience here, so don't worry about me on that.
That's great. That's great.
Audience of 3 capacity. Oh, see you. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna do another song called. This is called Angeline. And so these are all songs off of my album, and I think a lot of what. It's a complicated song. It's about convict leasing. Convict leasing is this Jim Crow era practice in the South of basically incarcerating newly freed African American males back into prison labor, the chain gangs working on fields and mines and factories. And I think a lot of this is connected to the fact that, you know, as Asian people, as Japanese Americans, you know, we have this privilege of being assimilated. Now, whether that's a benefit or, you know, whatever you may think about that, it still is a privilege in that we don't fear for our lives when we see cops. You know, we don't have to put our hands on the dashboard, or, you know, I don't have to worry about getting shot when I'm getting pulled over. And this is exactly the kind of, you know, existence that while Japanese people are minorities, Asians have our own versions of oppression. There's a very, very sick problem in America that has not been addressed. And I think as Asian people, we need to really stand up and, you know, help our fellow minorities, you know, have this equality, this kind of safety at least safety that we have, that we enjoy today. And so when I went to the South and kind of, you know, because there's movies about Japanese American incarceration, there's nothing I could not ignore the fact that mass incarceration of disproportionate amount of black and brown people are being incarcerated in our jails. And so I wrote this song. It's about convict leasing. It's about missing somebody very much, and her name is Angeline. Underneath the cotton sun, freedom we had just begun, sweeter than the finest rum, with my Angeline. Home to every kind of tree, built it without anything, life was like a peach and cream, with my Angeline. Angeline, oh Angeline, has the sweetest smile that I could ever see. Sweet summer rain just want to be able to see her again. Ba-ba-da-da, 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 ba-da-da. That day I was walking down the railroad tracks, I heard the sound. The sheriff, he was mighty proud, told me I had to pay. The foreman, he had come to find prison folk to work the mine. The judge was there to give me time away from my Angeline. Angeline, oh Angeline, she's the sweetest song that I could ever sing. Feeling the pain, I just want to be able to sing to her again. Ba-ba-da-da, 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 da-da-da. 7 years until I'm free, working off this prison fee. My fingers smell like kerosene in a mine in Tennessee. Every day I hold my breath, every hour wish for death. Angeline, she'd settled west, away from Tennessee. Tennessee, oh Tennessee, how the darkest veins that I have ever seen. Deep in the mine, Angeline, your memories won't let me die. Angeline, 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 oh Angeline, how the sweetest smile that I could ever see. Sweet summer rain, I just want to be able to see you again. Thanks. Thank you. This might do a couple more songs. Let's see. Maybe I'll do a violin song. Let's see. Is this fresh spring water from Heart Mountain atop the mountain? Yeah, great.
I go there every day to get my
Okay, nice. You guys should definitely hike Heart Mountain. It's about an 8-hour hike, 2,000 feet elevation. It's kind of, yeah, so. You guys hike? Have you done the hike? Yeah? Dakota isn't on here anymore. He's over there. He's sitting right there. Oh, okay. So you can actually go see, if you type in Kishi Bashi violin tsunami on YouTube, there's a video of an incarceration camp recreation through computer graphics. It actually looks pretty realistic, but anyways, it has like rolling wheat fields, and I actually kind of had Heart Mountain in mind when I asked the directors to make it. So. Haru no Hae no Minato Obi, that wave that overrides all the weight of in every one of us, there is a heart that rises, burning through loss and pain. And in the wood beneath, there is a heart that rises, burning through loss and pain. When in song we were meant to be, planting the wings of our beauty. That was the answer you one day you one day you'll hear the sound of laughter. One day you'll fall in love. Sorry about the bow. Hey kids, this doesn't mean I'm intense. This is bad technique. So if you play this correctly, you shouldn't be losing hairs on your bow. So okay. Is Erin Aoyama here? I think I'm got one more song. I'd love to talk to Erin.
Hey, Kay.
Hey, how's it going?
We're doing this block party so we can hang out. This is great.
This is great. I mean, we could just call each other, but
Yeah.
So
I have a couple comments for you. One,
okay.
a thank you because we used, as you know, Violin Tsunami and some of that animation in our opening ceremony, which was beautiful. It was such a beautiful way to tell history. And also, I don't know if you know this, but I'm technically the Programs and Research Fellow at Minidoka National Historic Site for this summer. And my supervisor, Hanako Wakatsuki, has asked that I, how did he put it, convince you to visit Minidoka on your road trip. So I'm going to encourage you to do that. It's on your
when is the, I might go to the Oregon coast, I'm thinking. When is the best time to visit Minidoka, like Idaho? What, tell me what,
and other
tell me what, let me know what the most ideal weather time for camping. Slightly on the cold side, not too hot during the day.
Oh, wow. It's specific.
It's pretty specific. I'm in a camper, so I would love to see Minidoka for sure. Cool. What else do I have to say? Did I already plug my movie? We're still working. By the way, we just hired a really great full-time editor for 3 months. So
that's great.
It's going to be great. This movie is going to be. It's kind of interesting because originally the film was, it was how to tell this story, the Japanese American story, and we kind of struggled because a lot of my character, and then I'm trying to figure out how to integrate my music into it. And so now the editor is and we had this story we thought we had the story figured out where it's we start with incarceration, then you go into this and you go to that. But then we hired a very experienced like editor, and a story editor, and she's like, basically, if you really want to convince people to understand this kind of history, with their heart, you have to like really follow me and like kind of sequentially follow my own personal journey physically, and tell how it is, like authentically, and that's really the only way you can convince people. She said otherwise it'll become like an EPK or a music video, like a Kishibashi promo video, So as opposed to like as an honest, like vulnerable film.
Yeah. Oh, I can't wait to see it.
So it's getting chopped up. I'm getting dissected within it, so which is fine. It's whatever. You know enough about me. I don't have too many skeletons in my closet, so that you know about. So.
That I know. Thank you so much for being here. This has been like really special and so beautiful. We really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. I've had a great time, and I couldn't climb it this year, but maybe next year. So okay. All right, good to see you. I'll do one more song. So thanks. This is called Summer '42, and I think I sing about a mountain in this song, and kind of had Heart Mountain in mind actually when I wrote it. So a lot of my songs are really happy, and they focus on joy and resilience. I think is really what inspired me, because these are real people, back then, with real struggles and real problems like love and loss and desire, and they probably had a lot of quizzical, unimportant problems too, just like us, So this is called Summer '42. Let me get my perfect hair. Perfect. I have not had a haircut since March. It's awful. Nobody will touch my hair. Na, 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 na. What are the things you wanted? The same as anyone, just a hand to hold a little. After all is said and done, and the days are long and open, 'cause I had a view of you in summer '42, when I was in love with you. The counting stars above us, we dream of Xanadu. We sneak off to the desert, the sand between your fancy shoes. The first day that I met you, I wrote down in my book, I am in love with you, I am in love with you. I am in love with you, I am in love with you. Days have gone asunder, the chaos of the war made man of everybody, but our memories I adore. We named our favorite sunsets, but we remember very few. That summer '42, when I was in love with you. But years have turned to ages, and I know you someone new. I look for you with every breath, a soldier wrecked with solitude. I climbed to the highest mountain, this mountain, and I started to have you. I was in love with you, I was in love with you.
Thank you so much, Kishi Bashi, for being here. Thank you, Christine Kitano, and thank you so much, Dakota, Russell, and the staff at Heart Mountain and the Wyoming Foundation for making this live performance happen from Heart Mountain. Pretty amazing. I'm jealous that I don't get to be there right now also. And Kay, we've gotten a lot of requests for a duet, so maybe that's something we need to think about in the future.
Okay.
And Kozu. But anyway, thank you. And mostly.
All right. Okay.
Thank you so much. Good night, everyone. See you next week.